Jean King, great to be with you, our fabulous Dean of Arts and Sciences. Here we are in our COVID-safe interview. Great to talk to you and to see you. I wanted to talk a little bit about the importance of your school, of the School of Arts and Sciences. Of course, the sciences, we know so many science majors at WPI, but the arts, humanities, social sciences, so important to every WPI graduate. Tell us a little bit about how things are going in the school.
Oh, we are doing so well outside of COVID. We're doing wonderfully well. And the pieces of the school, I think, are really so important to WPI and in general to who we are as human beings, are these fundamental skills and foundational skills that the arts, humanities, and social sciences and policy studies bring to us, like the basic meaning and tenets of being human. So critical thinking, creativity, communication, curiosity, those are the tenets that we feel are so dear to who we are as WPI. And our school tried to not just foster and engage faculty and engage our students in all of these tenets, but overlay it with STEM and all of our STEM focus areas. And in that overlay, I think what we managed to do is to produce students who care about their communities in an ethical manner, using all of these skill sets to really have global impact. And it's all about impact for us, as your tenants always talk about. And I think that's the way we do it. We're able to figure out how these pieces of who we are as human beings fit together with our professions in STEM.
Yeah, it's an integration.
That really bring us there.
It's a great opportunity for integration, right? Which is what we're all about, interdisciplinary and crossing boundaries, not just within STEM, but with all of these essential foundational skills. I want to ask you a little bit about the new building, the new academic building that, in spite of COVID is continuing to rise and go up. And so many of your departments, of your programs are going to be represented in the interdisciplinary approach to our smart world that we're pulling together in that building. How important is it to have the kind of collaborative spaces that we're trying to build out in the new academic?
Oh my goodness, I am so excited. I wish my office was going in there. I'm really excited about that possibility of bringing all of us together again in this interdisciplinary way that we do it so well at WPI. Of course, because the building is about the smart world and computer science is part of arts and sciences here at WPI, we have a critical role in that new building. So we know the world is going digital. Our computer science department is extremely amazing in terms of not just our faculty and students, but the interdisciplinarity of that program. I have to say computer science must have 7 interdisciplinary programs right now, including neuroscience, and they really do that well. And I think the idea that we collaborate across all these spaces and that computation is part of the center of this new building means that we are critical to this new building and we're excited about it. And I think we're going to bring all of the other things we just talked about being human to all of these pieces. The smart world also need us as humanists.
Yeah.
So I think it's just a great integration of who we are. And
the smart world is still a human world. So
correct. We hope. We're working on that.
It's going to be great to see all of these sort of boundaries being crossed in this new building in the best possible way to advance our thinking about the digital world of the future. You mentioned neuroscience. I would love to talk for a second about that. That's one of the great things you brought to WPI when you came here. That's your background as a scientist. And yet again, it's something that sits right at the intersection of so many great things that we do here at WPI. We've got new neuroscience programs coming online. Talk a little bit about that.
Oh, thank you so much for asking. I'm so excited about that too. When I came to WPI, obviously we had to take the pulse of the faculty and see whether or not this would be a program they were interested in. When we did that, we had 40 faculty respond from 8 different departments saying that they were interested in a neuroscience program. Some of them actually had elements of neuroscience in their courses, from engineering to arts and science, from chemistry, biology, computer science. So we got all of these faculty members together and said, okay, if we do neuroscience at WPI, how is it going to be different? How is it not going to look like neuroscience every place else?
Right.
Again, to speak to the computational pieces, we thought about the strengths of WPI, the strengths of computational biology, the strengths of computer science, the strengths of data science, the strengths of all of these digital sort of modules. So our neuroscience program here looks quite different from other neuroscience programs in that it features computation at its core. So it's a computational neuroscience program, and our faculty members have sort of stepped up. We have like 12 faculty members on the steering committee that have actually put this together. So although I actually probably initiated the joy of let's do neuroscience, honestly, it's backed by the faculty. And if the faculty were not interested, we can do it, but I have to say they have stepped up.
You brought the spark though, that kind of got those conversations going, which is great. And the brain is the ultimate computer, right? So ultimately, the fact that it's really a computational neuroscience program and it's very WPI in our approach. That's so exciting. And then just lastly, before we wrap up, you of course are a huge academic leader here at WPI, but you also bring a real focus on health and wellness for our broader community. And you have catalyzed a group of folks across the institution to an initiative during this time of COVID when we can all feel so isolated and apart, called the Be Well Initiative. And you got people doing mindfulness and yoga all over the place. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, well, my background in neuroscience also speaks to this particular initiative, because as a neuroscientist, what I study is the impact of stress on the brain and the interaction between stress and the brain. And when COVID hit, for stress researchers, these are the culminations of the things that we never want to see together. Something that's chronic, something that's unpredictable, and something that's uncontrollable. So those are the three areas we look to sort of understand stress better, like how we respond.
3 strikes and you're out, it sort of sounds
like. And then we had on top of it isolation, which we had never modeled. So we had all of those 3 things that we knew about and the isolation stress. So immediately, we sort of got a group together that was meeting for a while. We are always talking about wellness since I got here, and people had already been doing it. We thought it was a spark again to sort of pull some people together to think about wellness across the campus. So when COVID hit and the crisis really was upon us, we quickly got a few of the members of that committee together and say, what could we do to immediately respond? Of course, we thought we were only responding for the spring. So we got together faculty who said totally yes to this. Our head of humanities and arts, Kate Moncrief and Janine Sorenko and Angela Rodriguez, along with staff members in the library who was already offering some mindfulness. And we pulled people together and said, could you do this for our community? And they said yes.
Via Zoom, no less, right?
Yes. It has been amazing. So we did it for the spring, and obviously COVID continued, and we did it for the fall and COVID continued. And now we're doing it for the spring through the end of the year and maybe into the future. And I have to thank also the School of Engineering for helping co-sponsor these events. And we're really excited about the fact that although we're isolated, we're really together in terms of wellness. We're physically apart, but we're together at least in spirit. And on those Zoom calls, when we try to do our yoga and we try to do our meditation together as a community. So it's, as you point out, which you have done so well all during this crisis, keeping our community together. So this was just another way for us to try to keep our community together.
Wow. It's a big way though. And all I can say is thank you. Thank you for the part that you've played in bringing our community together before COVID, during COVID, and there will be an after COVID. So
yes, yes.
Dean of Arts and Sciences, Jean King, thank you so much for being with us, and be well, everyone.
Well, thank you so much for having me.